Tris, what is our first main topic today?
This comes from Keith Connelly. Good morning, crew. I saw that Netflix is celebrating its 25th birthday today, and it got me thinking about just how important and influential the company has been. It's still the biggest name in streaming, even though Disney and HBO have been challenging it. How would you say Netflix has been revolutionary in the whole entertainment landscape? Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, Keith. And yeah, officially they are celebrating. Netflix is celebrating their 25th anniversary, 25th birthday. And it is crazy. You almost forget, even those of us who lived through it, that Netflix was not a streamer.
No.
They were a DVD delivery company that completely revolutionized the way home entertainment worked. It wasn't streaming that put Blockbuster out of business. I mean, streaming kind of came in and gave it the killing blow. But I mean, the thing that put like things like Blockbuster, or if you're Canadian like me, Rogers Video and things like that, the thing that put it on life support was Netflix. The idea was simple for those of you under 18. The idea was simple. This is back when DVDs ruled the day. You wanted to watch a movie, but you didn't want the inconvenience of having to get in the car, drive to Blockbuster. First of all, you got to get changed out of your pajamas, get dressed, get in your car, drive to Blockbuster, whatever your local video thing was, walk up and down the aisles, find something, hope that it's in stock, take it back. And by the way, I'm talking negatively about it. I'm not going to lie to you. I used to love that experience. I used to love going to the video store. But still, walk up and down, go up, pay for it, sign your life away, take it home. And if you didn't have it back right on time, pay $700 late fee or whatever it ended up being. And so Netflix came up with this idea. You create a queue of all the movies you want in order. And you get the first 3 mailed to you. And then you keep them as long as you want. Well, as long as you want, as long as you're paying the monthly fee for the subscription service. And then when you're ready, send them back. And the next 3 movies on your list will get mailed out to you. Or send one back and the next one will come to you. And it was just like that. It changed everything. And I think today we forget about that. Now, eventually came the time when getting out of your pajamas, getting in the car, driving to the video store, that was too long. Eventually we got so lazy that, I got to put these discs in an envelope and walk to my mailbox. Who's got time for that? And then streaming was born, but still. And how this whole thing came to be is kind of crazy. And you can thank Tom Hanks, as you can for everybody, because it was Apollo 13 that changed the world. This comes to us from Deadline, writes the following. Netflix's saga starts, at least according to popular legend, with a moonshot. Co-founder Hastings describes getting shocked with a $40 late fee on Apollo 13 at Blockbuster and wondering, what if there were no late fees? But the streaming giant's origin story is more complicated than this convenient narrative, which neatly distilled the service's initial consumer proposition of renting DVDs without worrying about return dates or late fees. The idea was hardly a bolt from the blue, says co-founder Randolph, but a concept arrived at other countless brainstorming sessions with Hastings as they logged miles together talking about the formation of the company. So, number one, they completely changed home entertainment with the whole DVD mailing system and introduced online to being part of that process. You weren't streaming the movies, but you went online, created your account, created your movie queue, all from the comfort of your living room. And then the movies just got sent to you and you sent them back. Changed the game. And then they changed the game again with streaming. I still remember the first time I got my very first Roku. This is when I first moved to LA over a decade ago. When I got my first Roku device. And I streamed something on Netflix. It was crazy. It was nuts. They completely revolutionized today. Everything going on today with the streaming wars, with Peacock and Paramount Plus and HBO Max and Disney Plus and all this stuff, it all is here as a direct lineage result of what Netflix did by creating the whole streaming concept, or at the very least, popularizing it and making it popular. Then they changed the game again because they looked at the landscape and they said, you know what? Eventually, there are going to be other services that are doing what we're doing with this streaming thing. And I remember there's this famous quote by the Netflix guy who said, we've got to become HBO before HBO becomes us. Basically saying, we are not going to be able to survive indefinitely at streaming other people's stuff, because other people are going to start streaming. Other companies are going to start streaming, and then they're going to start keeping their content, and we're not going to have anything. We need to start actually creating our own content. And now, I don't know for sure what the actual first Netflix original was, but I remember the first one that everybody got really interested in, House of Cards. Everybody was like, wait, Netflix is making a show, like an original series?
For a lot of money.
For a lot of money, with big time names and big time directors and all this kind of stuff. And they changed the game. Today, Disney Plus is more than just a library of old Disney stuff, because Netflix started making originals and all that kind of stuff. And truly, Netflix did get ahead of everybody else. They became HBO before HBO could become them. And now it has come to pass. HBO has now its own Netflix, right? So that's all true too. They changed the game for home entertainment with the DVD thing. They changed everything with streaming. They changed everything with creating originals. Now, we may have been talking a lot in the last couple of months about Netflix having a difficult time. And it has been a difficult year for Netflix. Don't get us wrong. It absolutely has been a difficult year. But they are still number one by a pretty good margin. They are still number one. And they are still creating incredible stuff. Like one of the biggest TV phenomena, two of the biggest TV phenomena I think of the past year was I almost said Hunger Games, but was
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things and the Squid Games, right? They keep pumping out iconic television stuff, all these things. But yeah, the whole landscape is the way it is today. And again, I criticize Netflix a bunch, but the reality is they are the ones that made this whole thing possible. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this episode, Stamps.com. Guys, you know the holiday season has a way of sneaking up on us, and we are never as prepared as we think we are. And if you're a small business owner, you know how important it is to get ready for the insane holiday season. And even if you just got a lot of family or friends you're going to be shipping stuff to, now's the time to get ready. Luckily for us, Stamps.com has everything you need to make your life a whole lot easier. Because Stamps.com is your one-stop shop for all of your shipping and mailing needs. Get access to the USPS and UPS services you need to run your business right from your computer. Because with inflation on the rise, every single dollar counts. Protect your margins with major discounts on USPS and UPS rates up to 86% off. Stamps.com offers a stress-free solution for everyone. Use Stamps.com to print postage wherever you do business. All you need is a computer and a printer. And if you need a package pickup, you can easily schedule it through your Stamps.com dashboard. So get out ahead of the holiday chaos this year. Get started with Stamps.com today. Sign up with the promo code CAMPEA for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and enter the code CAMPEA. Rob, we're sitting on the cusp here of the 25th anniversary of Netflix. What pops into your head when you think about Netflix, and what put in context what they have meant historically?
Well, like you said, the evolution of, they're a company that evolved based on what they saw as consumer trends and the changing landscape of things. You know, when you think about a company like Xerox, when Xerox became part of the vernacular, when you wanted to copy something, you Xeroxed it. Can you make a Xerox of this for me? When I started to hear people say Netflix and chill, I was like, we're not going to go rent a movie anymore. It became Netflix and chill. Like it wasn't just Netflix. It was Netflix and an act, meaning someone's going to come over and chill with you. Like it meant dating.
It meant more than that, but sure. Yeah, let's go with that.
No, but it started to mean all kinds of things. Yeah, you want to come over to Netflix and chill. I mean, suddenly it was not just a company that provided discs or streaming content. It provided an experience, like a whole evening of experience, whether it was friends or dating or family. You know, come over and bring the family over. We'll Netflix and chill. We'll make some dinner. Barbecue. I mean, I was
again not the way I heard the term used, but sure. Let's go with a more wholesome approach.
But either way, once you heard that, once a company becomes beyond a company, it becomes a thing. A thing to do. Things have changed, and now, of course, Netflix, everyone's been trying to catch up. The major motion picture studios were trying to catch up to Netflix. And now they're still battling Netflix. Netflix, say what you want, as you pointed out, they're still the top. And they were the ones paying $100 million to license Friends. And everyone's like, well, how do we get our stuff back from, why do they make so much money? And it's been really interesting to watch them. You know, I really do feel, John, that what happened to Netflix with their stock price, this was a correction, but people were gunning for them.
Oh yeah.
They were going after them. Netflix, I think everyone's like, oh, it's going to be the end of, it's not the end of Netflix. Netflix is just, once again, they're going to evolve. And they're evolving by creating their own content. They were the first people that said, you know what? We're the ones. We can't rely on our licenses. We have to create new content. And they have been. I mean, it wasn't just, you know, it was House of Cards. That's what it started. But I mean, if you look at, they have the most diverse programming of any streamer.
They really do.
And they were the first people that went after. I mean, now you saw a deal. I think it was this weekend. Disney made a deal, Disney Star for cricket. You know, huge, but it was Netflix that was going after all kinds, well, Squid Game, but foreign content from India, from China, from all over the world, France. I mean, they're making deals to turn Harlan Corbin's books into like 10 different miniseries. They're doing an incredible amount. No one touches them. And now they're going to have to evolve along with the business of it all.
Do you remember a couple of years ago, there's that whole thing where I can't remember, it was the one U.S. politician, congressman, and congressman said the internet are a bunch of tubes. And
Al Gore.
It wasn't Al Gore that said that. It was
But the internet was a series of tubes?
But yeah,
No.
I think it was.
I thought it was him.
No, it wasn't him. It was a series of tubes, and they're getting clogged in this. But there was a big thing a couple of years ago that internet traffic was crazy, and the biggest internet traffic was happening between like 5 and 9 p.m. because people were watching Netflix. There was some crazy, I might be off on this number, but there was some crazy number. The statistic came out that was like, yeah, like 80% of America's bandwidth is Netflix. I think this is a couple of years ago, right? Like that's how influential they were. And Chris, you're hearing the story. Netflix turned 25.
Yeah.
In an industry where all these streaming services are little infants. Netflix is 25. What stands out to you when you look at their place in history here?
My mom was a Xerox rep, so I appreciate that a lot. I know what a Xerox is. I remember as a kid thinking that Netflix was so dumb because I loved my dad taking me to Blockbuster. And you'd go and you'd pick out your movie based on the VHS cover, right? And you were like, oh, this is what I want. This is what I'm picking up this week. But for them to have started with this service of just sending out discs, right, to where they are now is wild. To piggyback off of what Rob was saying too, with the foreign markets and everything, their first series was Lilyhammer, which was a Norwegian-American production.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
A year later, then they did House of Cards. And then 3 years after they started making their own original content, they had over 125 different original films or television series under their moniker, which is wild. Now, should they slow down on that a little bit? I think so. I feel like that's
maybe
probably
a bit.
a little bit of the problem. Cool quality over quantity. But I mean, they're a powerhouse. They changed the way we consume media, and they changed the way that media is being written too. I mean, so many writers' rooms now are focused on the binge delivery system, and it changes your narrative a lot because if you're going to consume 12 episodes of something, that's very different than a weekly kind of show. So they've had a huge impact, not only on just the way we're consuming it, but the way things are being made.
And they also, when that all stuff was happening, it also changed power dynamics in Hollywood. Like a lot of people think like the big writer's strike that happened a bunch of years ago. I mean, a lot of that, there was more involved, but it was like, how do we deal with payments and residuals when it comes to streaming, when it comes to this Netflix thing? They fundamentally changed everything, and we're still in the process of all that change. Anyway, guys, question is for you. When you think about Netflix, now granted, the last couple of years, we're talking about stock prices dropping and they lost some subscribers. It's been a tough year, yes, but they have been the ones that have really been the people on the frontier, if you will, going out there and blazing the trail. What do you think about Netflix when you think about their 25-year history? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.